Straight. Sit up straight, nice. Because I don't want you to complain of back pain. So if you sit up straight and you have a good posture, you'll be okay. Today we have the pleasure of having Mr. Johnny Torres from State Latin America, who has a special program for you. Okay? A big round of applause for Mr. Johnny Torres. Okay? And he's going to explain to you what the program entails. Okay? So you're going to have a essay contest. After this presentation, I am going to give you a form so you can do your essay, and then I'm going to be collecting it, okay? And then Mr. Torres is going to be so generous to invite us to a party to celebrate the winner of the contest, the essay contest, okay? Because Mr. Torres wants the best for you. He wants you to reach your dreams, to be successful in life. And how you're going to accomplish that, Talia? Tell me. Come on, tell me. How you going to succeed in life? Being a good student, yes. And you all are very good students. That's why you're here today. Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Johnny Torres.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Good afternoon. Well, let me tell you what happens. I stand in front of you and I perceive the high level of energy because you radiate a lot of energy. And you radiate a lot of energy, number one, because you're young. You radiate a lot of energy, number two, because you're very intelligent. You radiate a lot of energy because you are beautiful. You are beautiful. And you radiate a lot of energy because each and every one of you is a genius. But I have a problem. I perceive a high level of energy from your bodies. However, when I salute you, in responding, you're not giving me the same level of energy that I am perceiving from you with your voices. So let's try once more. How are you this afternoon? That's the idea. You feel better and better because you're young, because you're beautiful, because you're intelligent, and because you are a genius. Each and every one of you is a genius. Now what are we doing here today? At 4 o'clock. Well, you participated in a program that is called Reaching Our Dreams. Alcanzando nuestros sueños. What is this program about? Well, this program is about inviting community leaders to come and share with you some of their life's experiences and to talk to you about the importance of education. See, each and every one of you is a genius, and each and every one of you could accomplish whatever you like to accomplish in your lifetime. But you have to study. You have to work hard. And one of the things that you're going to hear today, you're going to hear a lot of what I call reality of life. See, people don't tell you certain things because they figure you're not mature enough to understand things, certain things about life. My way of talking to you is a little different. I'm going to talk to you about a lot of things There are realities of life, and that nobody ever tells me. For instance, how many of you like when you grow up to be very successful? Let me see those hands. Terrific. Each and every one of you, when you grow up, you're going to be a professional in some kind. You're going to be doctors, lawyers, architects, professionals. But that takes a lot of discipline on yourself. That takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of study. That takes a lot of everything that you could put into it to develop yourself mentally, to develop yourself physically, to develop yourself spiritually. So you're going to hear two other people, and they're going to tell the very successful people in their professions. They're going to share with you some of the burdens that they have to go through to become successful. Now, when I say that you're a genius, you may think, no, Mr. Torres, I'm not a genius because I'm not doing well in math, or I'm not doing well in science, or I'm not doing well in a particular subject. So let me tell you what happened. Many years ago, a young man, by your age, was born in Germany. And this young man was not normal. He was not growing normal. And therefore, in school, he was not learning. And everybody laughed at him. And the kid never learned. The parents of this kid, despite the fact that they were Germans, they switched from the public school system to the Catholic system, hoping that the kid would develop and learn in Catholic school. But he didn't. He wasn't learning. And everybody was laughing at him. One day, the school principal, school director, met with the parents of this kid and told them, it's no use trying to teach your son. He just doesn't have a learning capacity. Imagine parents hearing from the school principal, from the school director, that their child don't have a learning capacity. That's very sad, right? Now, you don't know the name of that kid. The name of that kid was Albert Einstein. So when I tell you, my dear friends, that you are a genius, I'm not joking, I'm very serious. And if anything you're going to take out of this meeting is the fact that you are a genius. And you have to think of yourself as a genius. Now, that genius within you needs nourishment. What is the nourishment that you give the genius within you? Reading, learning, doing your schoolwork, doing your homework all the time. Because your genius needs that nourishment so it keeps on developing physically, mentally, spiritually. So let me ask you a question. Now that you know that genius within you needs nourishment, and that the nourishment is reading, studying, doing homework, how many of you are going to pay more attention in the schoolwork? Let me see those hands. Terrific. All right. Now, let me tell you something else. You may be saying, Mr. Torres, that's okay. So I'm going to study, and I'm going to study more, and I'm going to read, and I'm going to become very, very much the first student in every room that I sit, every classroom that I sit in. But you know what? I want to be a doctor, Mr. Torres. And my parents are very poor. They may not be able to send me to college because they're so poor. Now, let me tell you another story. This little girl, her name, Ana Escobedo Cabral. Ana Escobedo Cabral is one of 5 children. Her parents were very poor and hardly knew how to read and write. She was born in California, parents were Mexicans. Ana Escobedo Cabral was about 9 years of age. And somebody asked her, Anna, what would you like to be when you grow up? And she, in a very firm voice, responded, I would like to be an employee of the White House. And that caused people to laugh. Anna, you want to be an employee of the White House? Get down from that big horse. Look at you. Your parents are very poor. They hardly know how to read and write. Your father earned his living by collecting garbage in the neighborhoods and then seeking out pieces of metal and furniture and selling them. Anna, you're crazy. Stop thinking that way. But Ana Escobedo Cabral was very strong in her idea that she would be an employee of the White House. And through the years, she kept on saying to everybody, when I grow up, I will be an employee of the White House. Now, I'm sure that you've seen a $1 bill, right? How many of you have seen a dollar bill? All right. I have in my hand an enlarged photograph of a $1 bill. Every $1 bill is signed by the Treasurer of the United States. To my left, to my right, over here, is the signature of, what's the name of that, who signed that bill?
Ana Escobedo Cabral.
Ana Escobedo Cabral signs the $1 bills. You know why? Because Ana, pass it around. Because Ana Escobedo Cabral became the Treasurer of the United States for 8 years during the Bush administration. And she signs all the $1 bills. But you know what? She also signed the $50 bills. Ana Escobedo Cabral also signed the $50 bills as Treasurer of the United States. She signed billions and billions of dollars. The daughter of a very poor couple. Her parents hardly knew how to read and write. And she was going through all the difficulties that you're going through. She also signed the $100 bill. She signed billions and billions of dollars. And the reason, Pastor, the reason I'm telling you this story, my dear young friends, is because in this room I see a lot of Einsteins and a lot of Ana Escobedo Cabral. Give yourself a big round of applause. Now, you may say, Mr. Torres, this is very nice. But let me tell you something, and I have another problem. My parents are divorced, and they're poor. How could I go to college? Well, let me tell you something else. I know a lot of youngsters attending college today. Very poor parents. They cannot afford to pay college for them, but they still go to college. You know why? Because from your grades up, they make sure that they read, that they did their homework, and that guaranteed them good reports cards through the years. And because of their good grades, they now qualify to go to college, scholarships. So when I tell you that you could accomplish whatever you set your mind to do, again, I'm not joking. I'm very serious because I'm talking to a group of young men and young women, all geniuses. How many of you believe that you're a genius? Let me see those hands. Terrific. You are a genius. Now, if you believe that you're a genius, why don't we repeat it to ourselves? I am a genius. Repeat it with me. I am a genius. You have to believe it. And you have to use strength and passion. I am a genius.
I am a genius.
That's right. That's my man. I am a genius. I am a genius. That's right. Now, let me tell you something else. Whatever you want to do when you grow up, you could do it. So long that you believe in yourself. So long that you are ready to work hard in the school and in everything you do, put your passion, put your name that you have to protect. And so long that you respect yourself. Let me tell you about respect. I am 87 years of age. I don't drink alcohol. You know why? Because alcohol kills my brain cells. Alcohol damages my liver. So, because I respect myself, I'm not going to ingest anything in this system that my God gave me that damages my organs. That's why I don't smoke either. I have never smoked a cigarette in my life. Anything that you put in your system that damages your organs, if you respect yourself, you want no part of it. Because you got a beautiful body that Mother Nature gave you, that divinity gave you. And you have to protect that beautiful body of yours. So, how many of you are geniuses? Well, so why not repeat it ourselves? I am a genius. I am a genius. That's right. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. That's it. The great my need. I believe in myself. And I respect myself. I respect myself. I respect myself. That's right. Give yourself a big round of applause. Terrific. Now, you're going to hear from a young lady that looks like a princess. And she's going to share with you some of her experiences as a professional Hispanic woman. Her name, Laura Martinez de Mexico. All right.
Mr. Torres, you didn't really tell them that they have to pay a lot of attention to what we're talking about, so they have to write an essay. You know you have to write an essay.
No, please.
Yes. And then the winners are going to be recognized and they're going to go to a party, like I say. have your parents who can guide you. You have your teachers. You have everything, right? And you are in a great country. So when I came here, I was with my brother. I didn't speak any English. I always wanted to continue studying, but it was hard because I had to work. I worked in a factory, but as soon as I came, I wanted to learn English. So I started going to school to learn English. And I have to cook for myself. Like I told you, my mom wasn't here. So I was working in the factory. I was very young. They didn't want to give me a job because I was only 16. But they were kind enough to give me a job when I was 16, so I used to work in the factory. But I continued to go into school to learn the language. It wasn't easy. And I always knew that I had to continue learning in order to be successful here. I was illegal. I didn't have documents. But I know if I wanted to go to school, that was not going to be, nobody was going to stop me, right? So when I was 20, I got married. And I decided to go back to school. So I went to a business school to study business administration. So the story here is that when I joined school, my English was okay, but I was afraid to take the classes, right? And the first 2 weeks, it was terrible for me because I didn't understand the teachers and I was about to quit. And I have a great friend during those first 2 weeks. I told my friend, I can't continue here. I don't understand anything of the teacher, of what the teacher is saying. I'm gonna quit. So she was like, you have to continue. You're gonna be okay. So she encouraged me to continue. So I don't want to make a big story. I finished 2 years of business administration. That changed my life. Nowadays, I have a great job. I work for a great company. I'm able to work with great organizations like say Latin America. So my message to you is that don't be afraid to continue. Sometimes there are going to be a lot of challenges in your path and your way, but you have to continue studying. So that's what I tell my kids. My oldest wants to be a doctor, and it's a long career. He's only 19. He's already in college, and I always encourage him. I always tell my kids, you have now all the responsibilities, the same thing like you, that going to school, get good grades, get your homework done, and be good kids, right? Do you have any other responsibilities besides that? No, right? The rest is just having fun. If you do your homework, you have good grades, and you're good kids, the rest is just have fun. You get, I guess, to go to the park, you get a lot of prizes from your parents. So the key is to go to school and study to be successful. All right, so like Mr. Torres says, with all genius, I'm sure here we have a lot of doctors and nurses and teachers and maybe lawyers that we're going to see in the future. So you guys are our future. But in the future, in order for you to be a great teacher for us, you got to study. You got to do your homework. You got to be respectful of your teachers. Okay? So, thank you. And now I'll introduce you to Brian Saleh. Salai.
How you doing, guys? All right, can you guys hear me? Good. I'm not usually a microphone type of guy, so I'd rather speak to you guys. All right, so this is my first time here. I want to first of all thank each one of you for being here. It's a pleasure. It's my first time. I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit of education and my own experience in life. At any time, if you guys want to get off the truck, really, quietly, respectfully, just feel comfortable. I know I'm going to talk to you for a couple of minutes and tell you a little bit about me. So what grade are we talking here? What kind of... Alright, great. I remember when I was in 4th and 5th grade, I started thinking about what I wanted to do in life, how I wanted to achieve it, and I had a lot of things, This is my son, by the way, if you wanted me to introduce well, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a policeman. I wanted to be a fireman. I just love to things that at least 200 to 300 times. How about yourself? What would you like to be? A police. Soldier. There you go. Anybody else? Stay in the back. A lawyer. All right. Yes. I hear a lot of lawyers. I'm going to how they call you guys. Marine biologist. Police. Game brother. Lawyer. Another lawyer. One more lawyer. You want to be one too? All right. Yes. Doctor. All right. Log it or 1-1. Veterinarian. How do we achieve all these goals? How is this impossible? All right, we all say education, like thinking, doing our homework, studying. You want to be one too? All right, we have to study. We have to do good. And we all know that. I think we all got the basics, right? Okay, education is important, studying is important, doing our homework is important. But I want to talk a little further. I want you guys, as you guys are listening, I want you to think about everything I say and question everything I say and think about how can you apply this to yourself today, tomorrow, when it's finished. When you go home, you say, how is this going to affect me in my personal life? That's why I want you guys to take this lecture that I'm giving you or my own personal experience. So as I mentioned before, there was a lot of things that I wanted to do. The main goals that I wanted to achieve and I got to achieve in my life was hard work. One of them was being a Marine, serving in the military in the United States and reaching the rank of sergeant was one of the biggest accomplishments I was able to have. My second one was being actually serving back to my community. I served my country and I wanted to serve my community. And I worked here at the North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue. I'm a fireman. And one of my goals, but now that I'm a fireman, is to become a captain. And I'm wearing clothes. Now, as I mentioned before, hard work, study, all that is necessary. But actions and habits. Your actions become habits and your habits become actions. And what I mean by that is, you might tell yourself, how do I become a lawyer? How do I do this? How do I become a doctor? I'm only in grammar school. I still need high school. I still need college. No, you don't. You can start doing it today. By educating yourself. Any book. This is a library. There's plenty of books. You guys are in an era where you have Google, you have computers. Start researching. Start finding out. Start reading about what you like, what you want to be. When I was growing up, I got challenged. A lot of my friends that I grew up with were like, oh, you can never be a Marine. The Marines are the hardest military branch. These guys run 10 miles. They do this, they do that. How are you going to do it? I wasn't a big guy growing up. I was skinny. Very, very skinny. There you go. Body is skinnier than you. I think you're pretty big compared to how I was. And I got challenged. Nobody really, I don't know what that one. But I worked hard every day. Every day, I started reading about hard. What it takes to be a Marine. How do I become one? And I worked hard. Sometimes I had to wake up at 5 in the morning and run just to prepare. Because I knew that you had to prepare in any career, in anything you do in life. It's going to be your mind, your body, and your soul. And you have to give this dedication. And I did. I went to the military. I served 6 years. Not every day was easy. I'm not going to tell you, hey, you're just going to go and study. No, it takes a long time. Your dreams don't come true like a fairy tale from one day to the other. It takes time and it takes hard work. And right now, you might be saying, oh, this is kind of funny. Yeah, I think I'm going to just make it. No. Actually, look at yourself right now and think about it. Can I really be a doctor? Can I really be? And the answer is yes, you can. But the choice is yours. You're going to be responsible. For a long time when I was growing up and, I was being young and I failed at things and maybe I didn't do that. Like, I used to have a way of sometimes blaming everybody else, saying I can't do this, or it's because of that, or it's because of that. And no, at the end of the day, I have to look at myself and say, I need to work on me. I need to be stronger. If I really want this, then I'm going to accomplish. And I did, step by step. Being in the military was a big transition. I was never really away from home. I had other people, other supervisors. I had to study, I had to do homework. But every day I took a challenge. Once I left the military, I started saying, well, what do I want to do now? What do I want to become? One of the biggest things that I grew up and I found about myself was that I like helping people. I wanted to get back to the community. It's very interesting. You guys look at each other. Look to the left and look to the right. I tell you, right now, in 20 years, 15 years from now, maybe even 30 years, you might know each other. You might be his doctor. You might have become a dentist, and now he's going to be your dentist. So it's a community. We all help each other. But what's going to make that difference is what you're doing now. It doesn't take a couple of years. You can start doing it now. It's the habit. Waking up, doing your homework, reading. And we know that education, we come to school, we get educated, but sometimes education is not just here. Education is everywhere. When you get out of school, you can read a book. How many lawyers? Where's all the lawyers, right? You guys should start researching, looking for books for your age, talking about law and how you can become a lawyer. Those are the steps that you got to start doing now. Because nobody's going to come and say, oh, you want to be a lawyer? Here's a book. Oh, you want to be a doctor? Here's a book. You have to do that on your own because those are your dreams. You have a question? Yeah, go ahead. No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's all right. What do you want to ask? You guys heard what she said? What she was saying is one of the biggest things you got to stop doing is doubting yourself. The biggest fear you guys are going to have in your life is not anything else. It's not fear of objects. It's not a fear. It's going to be the fear of yourself not able or not wanting to succeed. I talk to a lot of my friends. Yes? Lower? Okay. A lot of times, I talk to my friends and they say, what is your biggest fear? And their fear is that they're scared that not that they're not going to make it, that they're going to make it, because then they're going to say, well, I say, how do you scared of succeeding in your dreams? And they say, because what do I do next? What happens when I say, you continue growing. You never stop growing. Every day, mentally, you can continue growing. When I left the military, I reached my rank sergeant. I left man. I had a company, which was like, let's say a classroom of 40 guys, and I was in charge of them. I trained them, I prepared them. So that was a big honor for me and my family. When I graduated, once I left the Marines, I would have the same challenge. I said, what am I going to do now? What do I become? Like I was mentioning, I wanted to get back to communication. And I got a couple of job offers from federal jobs, like air marshals, correctional officers, and other, secret service, FBI, because I had certain resume. And the reason these companies were interested in me was because of my background. Not just because, I served the military, but because I had an education. And they show all the awards, the medals that I had received during my time. Letters of recommendation, even when I was in high school teaching, even from college. So that got me into the next job. One of the things that I found myself loving was being a fireman, being able to help people. I imagine you guys see the fire trucks all the time, right? And you guys know that when we're passing by or we're driving, we're going out there to help people. And that's my biggest dream. And I got to accomplish that. And even then, a lot of people said, you can't do that. They're not going to hire right now. They're not going to do this. You need to be super strong. You need to be a bigger guy than you to be a fireman. I said, no, all right, I'm going to do it. And I trained, I read, I prepared myself every day, and I took that as a challenge. And this is what I tell you guys. Challenge yourself. I dare you. I really challenge you guys to tell, figure out what you want to do. I have two friends. I'm going to tell you a quick story about that. And it's a funny story, because both of them went to school with me. Like the same way I tell you guys know each other right now. So these two guys, I went to school with them. One of them, he was alright, he was a good student, but he was always copying, he was always cheating. Pretty much. The other friend, he was an A student. It wasn't that he was smart, he just worked. He applied himself every day. And I used to tell him, why you study so much? He said, because I want to get a bachelor. So the years passed, we stayed in touch. They both went to college. They both became dentists. I bumped into them, I saw them in a restaurant at a friend's party a couple of years ago. And of course, they said, hey, Brian, you need a dentist? And I said, the guy that used to cheat all the time, it's like, hey, you want me to be a dentist? And I was like, I thought about it, I said, no, because if this guy was cheating during his exams, how much of a good dentist you are. And the other guy, that always did a lot of work, I wanted him to be my dentist. You know why? Because I knew this guy was going to be the best. He was going to work harder for my teeth and my mouth and take care. You might say, well, where is he going with this idea? I want you guys actually pay attention to this part of the story, because this is where things get interesting. But this is not more just about what you want to be, but who got to be the best. And how do you become the best at what? Anyone tell me anything? How do you become best at what you do? Studying, making good grades. All right, we're getting there. We're touching the basics right now. I want you guys to think a little bit more ahead. Applying yourself? Very good. Practice and try. Very important. That's getting it. You guys getting warm. Come on. These people gotta wake up here. Right there with a little mohawk. I like the haircut. What is it? What do you think? It's part of education too. What do you think you gotta do? What do you want to be actually? A doctor. What do you think is gonna make you a great doctor? Not just a regular doctor, but the best doctor. You might be my son's doctor, so I want you to tell me. Huh? Okay, applying yourself science. Yes, in fact. I'm sorry? Never giving up. Believing in yourself. Studying.
Getting ready for going to college.
High degrees, going to college. All these things never give up. All that's the last two. Yes, all of these answers are correct. But what I'm looking for you guys to start thinking is anything that you do in life, do it at its best. Anything. Meaning even when you go home, you do your homework, when you get dressed, when your parents tell you to do something, clean your room. Don't just do it halfway. Do it its best. Those type of actions are going to help you when you get in life. When I was a kid, my mother used to tell me, Brian, anything you do, it doesn't matter. If you told the room the kitchen, if you mop the floor, if you cook, anything you do, always do it its best. So when you get older, you're always going to start to be best in everything. So those dreams that you guys have today, start applying everything today. Read a book. Practice. Challenge yourself to say, let me see how much I can find out about what career I want to do. All right? Last question. I'm going to wrap it up. Yes. What happens next? That's a great question. That's one of the fears that I was talking about. What happens once you succeed in your dreams? What do you do next? You keep on growing. We as humans, we're privileged. We have a brain, a capacity that we can constantly grow. I know friends that have different degrees. Have college degrees, become a doctor, you become different paths. I became a fireman, I became a Marine, but I still have personal goals. I want to go Washington, learning how to ride a motorcycle now, trying to learn another language. So you need to continue challenging yourself as a person and grow as an individual. You want to say something? I keep on seeing you over there. You want to say it? No? You got something? You sure? Go ahead, speak up. Don't be shy, guys. No? All right, I must have missed a joke. What is it? That's a very good question. I'm going to wrap that up with that question. I want you guys to listen. Now, what happens when you do your best and it doesn't work out? That's life. I'm not going to tell you to sit here and say it was always easy for me. It took me sometimes once, 3 times, 5 times, maybe 10 times. In the fire department, we train every day. Because every day is going to be a different day. And I tell the guys that I train, just because you got it right, don't you stop training. Train until you can get it wrong. That's when you got to keep on going. So you might fail 10 times. The difference between people that have succeeded and the people that haven't, the only difference between them is that the people that have succeeded have tried and have failed more times than the person that hasn't. So keep that in mind. Last question. Yes. Yeah, don't give up. Keep on trying. The only person that's ever going to give up or is going to matter is you, because those are your dreams. The dreams are not going to be as important to you as they are, not important to me as they are to you. So it's up to you to continue doing what you want to do, no matter what people tell you. Always follow what you want to do. And I know you guys hear this a lot, but I'm telling you today, challenge yourself every day and really think about who you want to be. And that's how you start getting to know who you are. With that being said, I'd like to thank you guys personally for having me your time, and I'll bring it back to the store.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, my God. I wish we had a lot of time because you asked some very interesting questions that deserve long answers. The last has to do with what happens when you try and things don't work out. You know why things don't work out? because you didn't plan correctly. And that means you should try again. Thomas Edison tried 11,000 times before he gave us the light bulb. You never give up. You never feel fear. You know what? In essence, in reality, what's your name? Jason. Jason, I asked him what's his name and he gave me his name. That is his social ID. He's known as Jason. But in essence, Jason is indeed a portion of the essence of God. That's what Jason and every one of you is. A portion of the essence of God. And there is no limit. You have a brain which is marvelous. You have no reason to be afraid of anything. Again, because you are a portion of the essence of God. You shouldn't be afraid of anything. And you have no limits. Whatever limits you see people talking about, those limits are in their mind. There's no limits to the things that you could do in your life. But you've been sitting down for a long time, and it's time to bring you up. So we want to close with one thing that I should have told you in the beginning, and Laura reminded me. You're going to be invited to write an essay. That essay should be 250 words maximum, 150 words minimum. The teacher will give you this to do your essay. That essay is based in what impacted you today. Laura, Brian, and myself have shared with you some things. What